Back in 2016, Clash Royale was at its peak. Every chest felt exciting, every card review was a big deal, and the gameplay was simple but addictive. No Pass Royale, no champions, and no evolutions. So when Supercell announced Retro Royale, it sounded like the perfect throwback. But what we actually got didn't even come close. Now, the Retro Royale from 2025 wasn't an entirely new concept. Both the idea and the name were seen in the game years before the Retro Royale we are more familiar with showed up. This was in the form of a smaller challenge on the Events tab. Just quick little events where you could only use classic cards. They were a fun little throwback, but nothing crazy. So when they brought it back in 2025, it felt like they were gearing up for something major. A full throwback built to capture the original Clash Royale experience. But instead of a celebration, it felt more like a background event. Quiet, barely marketed, and honestly, it was kinda lazy. But here's the weird part. They actually did do marketing for the game. On March 4th, Supercell posted a silhouette of an arena with the caption, "New Temporary Ladder." The next day they said, "No tower troops," then no evolutions, and then no champions. People immediately started speculating.
7 hours ago, so earlier today, they said with no tower troops, so they're showing no tower troops. So it's kind of hinting more and more like we're getting an OG season in the game. Now there's a lot of questions.
It was getting pretty clear. Retro Royale was coming back. And on March 8th, Supercell confirmed it. A full event where you could play like it's 2017, running from the 12th of March to the 26th. Supercell also showed a trailer for this event. The trailer showed level 11 cards, classic 2016 and 2017 decks, and even the old school battle deck UI. Everything pointed to this being a full-blown nostalgia trip. And for a moment, it was exciting. Both major and smaller creators were posting about it. The community was hyped, but outside of the community, it was dead quiet. Retro Royale sat right next to Trophy Road and Path of Legends on the home screen. But barely anyone outside of the current player base even knew it was there. The announcement mainly lived on Clash Royale socials, which, let's be honest, only reaches people already playing the game. Now, there was an ad, but instead of describing the ad, I'll just play a quick fragment and you can judge for yourself.
What am I doing here? Why am I screaming? Wait, is this Retro Royale? The OG Clash Royale is back, and it's my birthday? Oh, we are so back, baby.
Yeah, I don't know who's behind the marketing team, but they should be fired. Anyway, here's the thing. If you want to bring back the old experience, you need to bring back the old players. Not just the people who already have Clash Royale installed, but the ones who quit years ago. Without them, you're missing a huge part of that original experience. And these people, they're not going to be scrolling through Clash Royale's Twitter in 2025. It felt like Supercell had a golden opportunity and they just didn't care. Because if they really believed in Retro Royale, they would have pushed it harder. But the truth is, even great marketing wouldn't have saved it. Not because the idea was bad, but because the execution was lazy. A good product needs good marketing, and good marketing only works if the product is worth selling. And Retro Royale, it had neither. So, what should they have done? Let's start with the basics. The level cap. Retro Royale didn't have a level cap, meaning all cards could go up to level 15, the same max level as the 2025 game. This completely shut out the old players, which ironically is the group Supercell needed to bring back the most. These were players who quit years ago, and thus they wouldn't have those maxed out cards. The max level they were familiar with isn't level 15, it's not even level 14, it's level 13. So for them, Retro Royale wasn't a nostalgic trip. It was an impossible grind for a mode they couldn't fully enjoy. But let's say they did have a level cap of level 13. Would that have fixed everything? Well, it helped, sure, but I don't think it would have quite made it feel retro yet. Visually, the changes were barely noticeable as well. The only real nod to nostalgia we got was the wooden deck UI, which was easy to overlook. There was no old music, no retro animations, and just no real retro atmosphere. Without these touches, the game just felt like the same 2025 Clash Royale with a cheap costume. So what about the rewards? Surely those were amazing, right? Well, honestly, the prizes were minimal. Just some season tokens, a few gold crates, and one emo. And for old players coming back, these felt meaningless. Old players coming back have no clue what season tokens are, and sure, gold is nice, but it's not exciting. So rewards are a crucial part of any event. To tap into the nostalgia, they could have thrown in an old chest like a super magical chest. 2016 and 17 players have a way deeper emotional connection with something like that than some season tokens they've never seen before. But let's talk about card balance, or more accurately, how the balance wasn't really retro at all. None of the stats were reverted to their 2016 versions. Cards like the Prince and Giant were dominant due to the meta at the time. Now, I'm not talking about the card levels, I'm talking about the actual card stats and balancing. For example, the 2025 version of the Prince is way different from the 2016-2017 version. With a faster charge and the ability to jump over the river, he was incredibly strong and different compared to the original Prince. What I'm trying to say is that because the balancing was the exact same as the game outside of Retro Royale, it was just 2025 Clash Royale with less cards, no evolutions, and no champions. Now, I think that even if it would be broken, it would be incredibly exciting and fun to play the game with the balance changes from back then. And considering we didn't get that, the mode just felt like a watered down version instead of a trip down memory lane. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, let's not lie to ourselves, you like the content, okay? So how about you hit the subscribe button, I keep making more videos, and I think we have a pretty good deal going. Alright, thank you. So, here's what I think they should have done. First, put a level cap on 13. This ensures that you can play majority of the cards that you want without having to worry too much about levels. This also allows returning players to have an easier time getting back into the game. Now, some differences in levels would be okay, as the 2016 Clash Royale didn't always have the fairest matchmaking either. Then the next thing is making sure the UI looks as close to the original as possible. Bring back the shopkeeper, bring back the old Crown Victory screen, hell, bring back the old card designs. It would go such a long way. But here's my great idea. A timeline system. Imagine this. Instead of dumping every 2016 and 17 card into the pool all at once, Supercell treats this event like we're actually going back in time. Week 1, only cards and balancing from the game's beta. Giant, Archers, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Goblins, all using their original stats. Expo can target air, Cannon costs 6 elixir, and Freeze covers nearly the whole map and lasts 8 seconds. No legendaries yet, just day 1 cards and stats. Then, each week, a new update rolls out. Week 2, Ice Wizard and Princess drop, just like they did in 2016. Along with the Royal Giant, Dark Prince, Poison, and 3 Musketeers. Balance changes from that point in time also go live, meaning the Expo can no longer target air, the Cannon will go down to 3 elixir, and the Freeze isn't nearly as overpowered, and all other balance changes up to that point. The next week, cards like the Log and Ice Spirit are introduced, along with the balance changes up to that point. So, basically what I'm saying is, each week the timeline moves forward, progressing through Clash Royale's history until we hit the end of 2017, where most players quit. Now, this version of Retro Royale doesn't have to last 2 weeks, it could last 2 whole seasons. Each season pass could offer different rewards themed around the era it covers. You'd literally be playing Clash Royale's history just at a faster pace, meaning you'll have something to look forward to every week. Instead, we got 2 weeks of retro where nothing really happened. No updates, no surprises, just 2025 Clash Royale with a filter slapped on it. Now, I get it. Using old stats would create broken metas and wild interactions. But that's kind of the point, is it not? That chaos, that unpredictability, is what made those early Clash Royale days so extremely fun. Seeing 3 fire spirits instead of 1, watching the giant skeleton blow up an entire push with his overpowered bomb. That kind of stuff would have made this mode actually feel like the good old days, and allow us to somewhat reignite that spark that made Clash Royale so special. Now, I understand it would be a lot of effort for Supercell to bring something like this to life, but it would most likely work in their favor. I also think that this is something that the players really deserve, and it's a moment where Supercell could show they actually care about the people who've been supporting and playing their game for all these years. And if we quickly take a look at a different game, we can see a lot of those things done right. Fortnite Battle Royale. Now, I actually used to play a bit of Fortnite. Save Fortnite! And from first-hand experience, I can tell you that they did it right. They've brought back their original experience not once, but twice. The first time was in November 2023, and this was already huge. Even though it wasn't a complete overhaul, it still hit that nostalgic nerve. But in late 2024, they went all in. Old UI, OG mechanics, classic map, the full package. Even when it stripped things away from the game, the grenades literally didn't have an artwork, yet they still changed it back to the placeholder. The results? Massive player return, non-stop hype, and weekly updates that made you want to check in every time. Each week, the map would update to the new season from back then. That means that when Season 7 arrived, the snow and plains came back to the game as well. It wasn't just some silly re-release, it felt like Fortnite from back in the day, just released at a faster rate. And in my opinion, that's the gold standard right there. They didn't just say, here's some old stuff, have fun with it. They rebuilt the whole vibe. And it worked because they respected what people loved and executed it properly. And because they nailed the execution, the nostalgia actually hit. And the thing is, this wasn't just some gamble. Epic Games knew that this is what people wanted. And let's be real, Supercell knew too. Supercell could have and should have taken notes and treated Retro Royale like a living timeline, not just a static event. They knew what made Clash Royale's early days so iconic. They had the blueprint, and they still missed the mark. Now, obviously, part of what made the early days of Clash Royale so magical was discovering things for the first time. Getting that first legendary...
or whatever. Yeah. Oh, yes! Yes! Oh my god!
Learning the meta and just figuring it all out as you went. And that experience can't be perfectly recreated. But following Fortnite's blueprint, Supercell could have gotten pretty damn close. And even if it wasn't exactly the same, it could have at least made us feel something again. That rush, that chaos, and that excitement. Instead, we got something that felt more like a themed challenge, and not a true throwback. But hey, maybe for the 10-year anniversary, they know what the fuck to do.